In this video, we shall discuss about the block diagram of the computer system in detail. A computer system is made up of four key components: the input unit, the central processing unit, the memory unit, and the output unit. Again, in the central processing unit, there are three main components: the primary memory, the control unit, and the arithmetic and logic unit. So we shall discuss in detail about the functions of each unit in the next slide. The input unit. The function of the input unit is to accept the instructions or the data from the user. The instructions can be given through the keystrokes or the mouse movements or through voice. Again, the input unit converts this input data into digital signals like zeros and ones so that the computer system can understand. So nowadays there are specially designed braille keyboards which are helpful for the visually impaired for entering data into a computer. And also now we can enter data through voice. For example, we can use Google Voice Search to search the web where we can input the search data through our voice. So these are some of the examples of the input devices: keyboard, mouse, webcam, light pen, scanner, joystick, trackball. So these are some of the examples of the input devices. So the main function of the input unit is to accept the instructions from the user, converts it into digital signals that the computer can understand, and again it will transfer it to the next unit, which is the central processing unit. And now this is the output unit. The output device shows the result to the user. It will be like a picture, sound, or a printed page. Okay, so the output unit for the visually challenged person is a braille display monitor, which is helpful to understand the textual output generated by the computers. So example for an output unit is webcam, speakers, monitors, printers, headphones. All these are examples of output unit. Printer is the most commonly used device to get output in hard copy form. So there are three types of commonly used printers. They are the inkjet printers, laserjet, and the dot matrix. Nowadays a new type of printer called 3D printer is used, which is used to build physical replica of a digital 3D design. So this is the function of the output unit. And next is the central processing unit. It is called as the brain of the computer. In short, we call it as CPU. So it is the electronic circuitry of the computer system. So in this circuit only, the actual processing of the data is carried out. It is also called as microprocessor. So the CPU will be placed on one or more microchips called as the ICs or the integrated circuits. The ICs are made up of semiconductor materials. The semiconductor materials are materials which will allow the current to pass sometimes, and it can also block the current to pass through it. So that is the property of the semiconductor materials. So central processing unit is the brain of the computer, and it is the place where the actual processing of the data happens. Now we shall discuss about the main components of the CPU in detail. So inside the CPU there are three main components: the primary memory, the control unit, and the arithmetic and logic unit. So the primary memory, again, it has two components: the registers and the cache memory. So the registers are nothing but they are also a memory unit, which we say that super fast memory unit, which holds the data and the instructions which are currently being used by the computer. And the cache memory, it stores the frequently used data, so the CPU can access it quickly. And the next one is the ALU unit. So in the arithmetic logic unit, all the arithmetic and logical operations are done as per the instructions given by the user. Okay, so that is the function of the arithmetic and logic unit. And next is the control unit. The control unit is responsible for controlling the execution of the instructions. That is, the instruction should be carried out in a sequential order or in a correct order, one after another. And also it interprets the instructions. Interprets the instructions means it understands the instruction, what the computer has to do, and it gives the command to the particular component of the computer to perform that action. So it guides the data flow through the computer's memory, ALU, and the input or the output devices. So the flow of data within the computer system is controlled by the control unit. And this yellow line is the bus. So the buses are used to carry the instructions and the data between the CPU components and also other components like input devices, output devices, and the memory unit. So the buses are used to transfer or carry the data and the instructions among the components of the computer. So this is the main components of the CPU. And next is about the secondary memory. When processing a data in a computer, if it wants to get any saved information like a file or photo, or sometimes if a computer wants to store a data permanently in the secondary memory so that the information is not lost when the power is off, or if you want to store the data permanently, then we use the secondary memory. Some examples of secondary memory are the SD card, HDD. HDD means hard disk drive, pen drive, and CD. So these are all the it is used to store large amount of data permanently. So we can store files, photos, pictures, videos in this secondary memory. If we want to store the information permanently, we use this secondary memory.